minutes of our last meeting, which would be April 29th. Anybody have any corrections or additions to those?
On page 3, the last paragraph where it regards, Mr. Del Banco said he recently received a bill for 44 keys to the gate at Northwood Park.
Okay.
Those keys were not for the gate, they were for the boxes on the field.
Okay. We might also note that there are other gates there other than the front gate as well. Okay. And what page is that again? I'm sorry.
The bottom of page 3, the very last.
Okay.
Yeah, but he did say gate. I mean, I think there should be a correction added there. That
I just wanted to clarify that
Right.
point because I had talked with Larry
But
Delbaneri
as far
about
as the minutes goes,
Right.
that's what he said, that,
That's what he
that
said.
it was the gate. But
Should we add
you may want to add
your clarification as an...
I'd just like to
in-
see
just
something
put in-
clarified to that.
Just put in parentheses,
Mrs. Bossy indicated.
right,
I better use the originals here.
that the
Joe, can you do that?
keys were actually
I'll make
for
it,
the...
I'll add it.
Yeah,
Because Joe's going to have the final
There's
copy.
7 or 8 typos that are corrected that Rod has in that master copy that I know I already have.
they were
to go
for
in.
what?
Yeah.
For the.
Okay, I've got on page 2,
Yeah, okay,
we're going
just
to
put down
continue
the
with this.
stuff,
Are you ready? Or?
No, I'm still changing it.
I just add that, leave it the way
Yeah.
Joe wrote it, because that's the way it was.
Yeah, yeah, just add that to it, for the thing. You didn't get enough downstairs?
You're on the wrong paragraph. It goes with the paragraph below.
Oh, well.
I'll get it.
There now. All right, where are you at?
Page 2,
Sure.
second from the bottom paragraph, said Mr. Madison said the survey work is estimated at $1,500. Mr. Madison said Mendon has agreed. I think I said Pittsford. I may have said Mendon. If I did, that
No,
was
I may have.
that was wrong.
Okay,
It was,
it's Pittsburgh.
Pittsford has agreed to pay half the cost of the survey. And then the next sentence, Mr. Madison moved to hire a surveyor to get the line established, provided there is money, blah, blah, blah. It should, I think it should say Mr. Madison moved to join the town of Pittsford to hire a surveyor. Okay? Just insert that between
Okay.
moved and to hire.
Okay. Any others? Other than spelling, Joe's corrected the
Yeah.
spelling errors.
I'll move to accept with the corrections as noted.
Okay. Have a motion to accept with all noted corrections.
Second.
Okay, we have a second. Any discussion? Hearing no discussion, all those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Any opposed? Motion's passed. There were only 3 of us here at that last meeting, so
Yeah.
we only got 3 signatures for this copy. Okay, very good. Back again?
Just an observer.
Oh, okay. Today is the 13th. The orders are circulating. Does anyone want to take time to do those, or we're just going to do them as we go? Is that all right?
I do
Yeah,
mine
most-
afterwards.
For the
We'll
sake
sign
of
them all.
time, we'll just keep moving.
We signed them all here, so.
Yeah, okay. All right, questions from the floor. Is there anyone?
In reference to that survey that Bill was talking about, I gave Joe something that the state gave me a few years ago. No, that's not it, Joe. It's a global positioning system that was in a paper, and I have a map that Joe has a copy of, and it shows that that area up there has already been done. It's done off the satellite. There's a marker up by the reservoir, which is on the map is number 0689, and there's one directly due northeast from that is a number 0682. So evidently they've done that. They've done that up there. If you've seen the paper, that you know the cross, the big white cross. So perhaps a phone call to that gentleman who was on that board or whatever it is that's doing the mapping. They're mapping the whole state, and that section has already been done. It might help get something more exacting.
Okay. Everybody understand what Charlie's talking about?
Their GPS in the whole town, though, Charlie, for 911, so you might have heard about that.
No, this was, I gave you the two sheets. The guys that did it up by the reservoir gave me.
Oh, those guys?
Yeah,
I went around with that.
that's already been done. It's already been blocked out, and they got the markers. And the marker's right by the gate at the reservoir. And then there's another one that is due northeast from the reservoir, so it looks like it's out in that area. And they're mapping the whole state that way. And that section's been done already.
Anything else, Charlie? David?
Yeah, I might pass the board. The word on the street is that there's been a proposed settlement offer to the town on the class action suit. I was wondering if there has been a settlement proposed and if you intend to make it public.
Mark will be here later, and you can ask him that, but, you know, I would defer those answers to him.
Yeah. Well, I would like to suggest that it's an important item of information because, as far as I know, the decision has not yet been made what to do with Jenkins' decision, whether to keep it at what it is or to lower it to 30%. If the listers had a meeting at which it was stated that if it is lowered, for the average taxpayer, it's going to be an increase in several $100s even for an average.
Listers haven't decided yet?
As far as I know, they haven't. Maybe they have, but the last meeting I was at, they were going to consider it in the future. But this class action threat is tied into all of this. I mean, I understand the reason we're appealing to the Supreme Court is on account of the class action allegation of intentional discrimination. I mean, my question is, why would we keep appealing the 93 cases which are about the inventory tax unless we intend to put it back to the 100%? Essentially, we're arguing over something that's already been changed. Or if the listers do lower to 30% and the intentional discrimination claim is negotiated in this class action thing, what would be the point going on further litigation? If the decision, you know, is made to not to lower this year, if the listers make that decision, I think it's very important that the Board of Selectmen negotiate in good faith with the other side on this class action thing, because out of that negotiation might come a settlement which would save the residential taxpayers money. In other words, we wouldn't lose all of the personal property. I have heard it stated at some meetings that some businesses would be willing to accept something greater, like a surcharge or something like that they have in Burlington and Winooski. But
just to clarify, David, the class action suit certainly is involved in the appeal to the Supreme Court, but we really appealed because we felt we were right. You know, the main thing is because we felt we're right. But that does enter into it. Yeah, I just didn't want to be on record that was the only reason.
If the Supreme Court were to say the town is right, what happens then? Will the inventory go back up to 100%? Or in the case that the business equipment's lowered to the 30%, will that go back to 100%?
Well, the inventory is in control of the town. The state controls. The state says you will charge business personal property. The inventory, the state leaves up to individual towns what they want to do with that, so that'll have to be a decision made then. See, the state doesn't regulate the inventory. You can have inventory tax, or you don't have to. But the business personal property tax law says you will have it. Every town will have it. So that's a decision that the board will
I
have
think
to.
you can vote to repeal that, though, like you did.
Yeah, anything you wanted to do. That inventory is left up to the
Business
town
personal
itself.
property is treated the same way as inventory if you want. I mean, you can elect to not charge
Right, that's just go right there.
the business personal property tax.
Well, yeah, that's something new coming into the picture now, but the inventory was the one that you could eliminate.
Because we've got a unique situation where we've got Mark Sperry representing the town on the tax appeals, and we've got 2 insurance companies with 4 attorneys representing the town on the class action suit. So even though there is some intermingling, they're in a way separate issues.
Well, Mark Sperry stated at public meeting that the reason they're appealing on the inventory, even though the reduction's already been given, is because of finding in that decision that there was intentional discrimination. Jenkins' finding that the town's tax system was inherently unfair, and that was the reason so that we wouldn't be, you know, vulnerable to the class action lawsuit. But I mean, if they're making an offer to withdraw or negotiate somehow this class action lawsuit, it certainly would have a bearing on those other cases. And out of this, I would think maybe some sort of resolution of the whole issue might come about where we could start looking to the future. I mean, that's what the listers are doing, is looking to the future, and the selectmen are sort of dealing with what has happened in the past. And maybe out of the negotiation over this class action lawsuit, there could be some resolution of the whole issue. I mean, it's not cast in concrete that those 2 cases have to go all the way through the Supreme Court. The 93 one hasn't, as far as I know, it's still there. I don't know if they've had oral arguments yet or not.
Not yet. I believe the paperwork's been filed.
These past dealings that we're dealing with definitely affect the future. Yeah. Definitely affect the future. We have to look fast to foresee what's going to happen in the future.
Well, if we win the 93 appeals, how's it going to impact the taxpayer?
We have 94. That doesn't end it.
I mean, are we going to raise the inventory back up, or?
We'll have to cross that bridge when we get to it. I wouldn't want to tell you.
Not entirely sure.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to tell you at this point.
I think it's an issue there of, in the case of some appeals, some money is held in escrow, or, you know, will it have to be paid back should we lose the appeals? I think that's a major issue. And, you know, beyond that, I don't know what happens.
The footnote is, if this change is made this year, with the issues, if they go from 100 down to 30 on the business equipment, the major portion of the reappraisal would about the shifting of burden we just talked about.
Would be
The
over.
reappraisal debate was 38% increase in taxes. That major shift will have already occurred. I mean, that's where all the money was in the personal property. So in essence, we have had a legally mandated reappraisal in those categories, depending on
Values, 20 or 30% rather than 100.
what's that.
The aggregate values are 20 or 30% rather than 100.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, with
That backward indexing.
it was yeah, in a sense, with a personal property, and that's where the bulk of the money was. So essentially, we've just undergone a reappraisal of sorts.
Around the barn.
I guess maybe my head sometimes isn't totally put together, but the chain of command in court, something goes to court and the judge makes a ruling, the law provides you the opportunity within, I believe it's 30 days, to refuse that ruling and appeal to the Supreme Court, which means that everything stands there. I don't think anybody has I don't think that you can just anticipate that, well, we'll drop it to 30%. This town was operating on the argument in court on the 100%. So as far as I'm concerned, the town system is still that same percentage until the Supreme, being that we appeal. Had we not appealed, it was all over. We appealed, that's on hold. That really means nothing. If somebody sues you for $2 million and the court gives you $1 million and these people appeal, they don't get the $1 million until the appeal is over. So it should be no difference in this. How can we give the money away here when the appeal isn't over? Did you ever see anybody get any money from a lawsuit when there was an appeal?
No.
We're dealing with the same thing here. We're dealing with people's money. So that if the Supreme Court hasn't ruled If we appeal to the Supreme Court, that puts that decision on hold. Judge Jenkins' decision at this point is on hold, so the town still operates on the way it was operating. And then the Supreme Court makes its decision, then you're getting to the end of the road. But at this point, it just means it's on hold.
Will that be a listener's decision or Florida's?
Well, I can't speak for the listeners. I would hope that they would realize that that's the system. I can't speak for them. I'm sure they'll do what their conscience
They have
tells
certain powers, you know, granted to them by state statute. One of them is to set the numbers. And they feel that personal property should be in at a certain number. They have the authority to do that. I mean, they don't get their marching orders from us. They're elected like we are, and they have a certain function like we do.
Well, whatever they decide, I think would be critical to whatever you decide.
Very much so.
Scary.
It could be. I don't know. I don't know. We're all going through this the first time in this particular case. But we're willing to listen to anything from the other side.
That's good, thank you.
Thank you. Other questions? If not, we'll move on. We don't have a health or building report. The officer's not here. Road Commissioner, Marshall Fish, he's not here. We did order the truck. It was a sewage sales and service. They were the low bidder. The truck has been picked up by Marshall Fish, and I believe it's in, where did it go? Montpelier, maybe? We fitted with a plow and a body. So we're able to get the truck we wanted. Other than the color, it's exactly what it met the specs exactly. And it was in stock, so we should have it in service in a very, very short period of time. Trucks that had to be ordered are months away. So we're fortunate to get the truck at the right price. Do you have anything on highways?
No, not really.
Anything that fits in line?
I haven't heard anything. Have you heard anything?
Nothing new,
Joe?
no.
Not really.
We might want to contact them, just find out what the status of that is. I'll tell you, as a town resident,
On what are you talking about?
Meadow Lake Drive.
Meadow Lake Drive.
Whether they had
We haven't
Tinker
heard
go up
anything.
and survey it, but
They are working on
got a lot of
Butterfield
townspeople
Road there,
that-
Joe.
What's that?
They are working on Butterfield Road.
Yes, I have heard,
Yeah.
I've passed
Yeah.
along word to Marshall, I hope he can get up
Yeah.
there and inspect it.
You informed Mel Adams what our decision was last time,
I
right?
did, nearest day, yeah.
Any
so
other
he knows to go ahead and hire.
other highway business? Anybody have any? Recreation? I think the key situation is adequately explained. It wasn't to the front gate, it was to the field boxes and other gates.
Is Dick coming? Or?
I think they may
Yeah,
have
they've got a
fire
water
department
meeting.
Across the hallway downstairs, he'll be over afterwards.
All right. While we're on the subject of that, Larry Delvenary mentioned something to me tonight, and I think it's appropriate. If you have a question regarding whether it be fire, recreation, et cetera, it isn't necessary that you wait to this meeting to find out an answer, because many times you probably won't be able to. There are department heads and commission chairs, like Charlie with the planning commission. You can contact them probably and get an answer sooner than 2 weeks. And you know, if you really want to find something out, call the chairman or chairperson of whatever committee that they're in charge of, and they probably can answer your question a lot quicker than you can at a public meeting where they may not be there, and someone has to hunt them down and find out the answer for you. So Larry said, you know, anybody's got any questions like that, they could contact him directly rather than wait till come to a meeting to do that.
I don't think the question was raised until Dick brought it up.
Yeah,
so.
but Dick could have called Larry and got an answer. Easy enough.
Yeah.
I think it just streamlines the process, and it certainly makes this meeting work a lot smoother.
It might help if when they put in a request, Dick was responding to an order that was being signed, I think. And I think there was an invoice in there for 44 keys or whatever. It may help that if somebody puts down an explanation of what that is, you know, not only in recreation, but I mean in other things as well.
I think, you know, there could be better communication maybe all the way around in that
Right.
particular case. Planning, Charlie?
Couple of things. One, I'd like to make the recommendation that Mark Sperry be asked his opinion on the interpretation of that particular section of the agreement. See, and I was a major player, and you were a major player when this was written, and we were under the impression this was a legal contract. I think we should get an opinion from our attorney, who oversaw the writing of this agreement, on the interpretation of that particular phase and the enforceability of this agreement. They're interpreting it differently, apparently, from what we were told downstairs, and I'd like to make the recommendation we get an opinion. So for future meetings, we'd have something to base our decision-making on.
Are you aware of other agreements other than the one signed with the city of Rutland that took place?
Nope.
They're
This
probably
took
just
place
ours in the city.
in lieu of a subdivision, which
Right.
was going to be a lengthy,
Oh, yeah.
drawn-out affair, because we disagreed whether it was necessary. In order for them to address our concerns, we could have brought them to Act 250, but we didn't feel that comfortable they'd been addressed there, and Damien said he would agree to these concerns. So they're interpreting it different than the way we wrote it. And it was the Planning Commission that wrote that agreement, and with your concurrence. That's number one. Number two, I think we kind of left that that meeting in limbo. Now, we were told that Sensor was hired, but yet, when the developer left, I got the impression we're going to negotiate something. But everybody just got up and left. Now, we're going to have future meetings, or what's going to happen now?
He said he was gonna get back to us.
He indicated to me that he would send you and I written
Proposal?
Proposal, and I said I would circulate it among members of my board, and I assume you would do the same with yours.
What, the next time you talk to him, make sure it's done according to this. And this is what I'm telling him, that this is why we're at this impasse. They didn't follow their own agreement on the process on page 10. Any notice or other communication given pursuant to the provisions of this agreement shall be in writing and shall be given by mailing the same by certified or registered return receipt requested to the town of Rutland and copied by overnight carrier to Marks Ferry. They haven't done it for a year. Now, if they're going to adhere to it, let's do it right, so you have a chance to analyze what they're saying. Mark gets a copy, so he can give us legal advice.
I
This is the way it should be done.
I think that's what Damien
Yeah, he
is
said, I
agreed to
realized
do, so.
I did wrong there.
Right, and so did Ed DeLappy and Patty did. They just come in bulling and jamming that they're going to put a proposal forward.
I will contact Patty tomorrow.
And tell them it's on page 10, paragraph F, that she has to adhere to
Make
if
sure
they
that-
want to follow the agreement and do this the way it should be done, so we can communicate in a proper manner, so you can act on this instead of reacting.
He admitted when you said,
Yeah,
when you
that's the way it's
brought
been
that up.
for a year now.
I'll take care of that tomorrow.
Okay, that's all I have.
I think on that, Charlie has a
Sure.
good point, that we should ask Mark Sperry for a legal opinion on that.
He edited the whole thing, and so did Dan Hershenson on Damien's side.
As a result of the first time we were in, I think John had asked, but I didn't, and when I did, Sperry's feeling was that agreement, that what they were asking for was granted, would need to be changed.
But I'd like that,
Let
a
us-
copy in writing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see what they offer first.
I think we should get the opinion first, so that we got something in writing, whether we interpret it different than the way they interpret it. You know, we've been twice around on private security bill. Twice with these people. And they're saying our agreement is being interpreted different than their attorney's interpreting it. So I think we should get our attorney, who helped write this thing, to give us an opinion before anything comes down, so we know where we stand. Yes, we can agree with what they're saying. No, the agreement's got to be changed.
Well, I think Joe answered that.
But that's a phone call.
But I would like something in writing.
So would
that
I.
tells me, I mean, I think this is a pretty important decision. And we
I do
have
too.
to-
Charlie, you gotta understand, you and I are probably the only two, or maybe with the exception of a couple others in this room, that were here when this whole thing
Yeah.
started. And I think there are other folks here that,
And this was done, and in return, we had to support with letters in support of the Act 250 process, and any testimony that was required by the town in the Act 250 process. And in return on that, we asked them that this be submitted as part of the documentation in the Act 250 process, and it was as Article 179 as one of the articles that were submitted by the developer. So this is the way it all came down, and we all agreed that we had some concerns. We had a bad experience with one mall. We had 4 others in the wings. So we wanted to make sure the town's concerns were addressed.
But what I'm saying, because we have some people who arrived late on the scene that have none of this documentation,
None of the background.
none of the history.
Yeah.
If they want it, I think we should have it.
I do too.
Charlie, do you
Which-
have anything originally back when this started, where Zamias agreed to provide law enforcement?
Well, we drafted all the concerns, page after page. And then we sent it to Mark to see what was legal, what was enforceable, what wasn't. He put it in legal form, sent it to Dan Hershenson, he made some changes, back to Mark Sperry, he made some changes, came to us, we sat down with your board, went through it, we can live with it, and then there's the legislative body, they're the ones that signed it. Normally, it would have been a conditional permit under subdivision, but that was going to be a long, drawn-out legal battle, whether it was required or it wasn't required. They were going to buy half the Dyer property. Their contention was the railroad tracks created a natural subdivision. Mark says no, it didn't. Instead of going back and forth, whether it was required, they had Judge Norton as their lawyer. Then that was prior to Dan Hershenson coming on the scene. And Dick Norton gave an opinion that it wasn't necessary. And we said it was. But it's the only way we had to address our concerns of the town. And this is the method that he suggested we come up with in lieu of getting it all into Act 250, and then we lost our control of enforcing the concerns of Rutland Town.
Lee, when's that contract run out, the one we got now for renewal? June 1st?
Later, I think it's July 1st.
July 1st?
You know, Karen, like Charlie said, I've been involved since.
Yeah, Joe was here.
Well,
He was
but,
Joe was here then.
I don't think there was ever any, at least from where I was sitting at the time listening, there was never any question what the town was asking for with law enforcement capability is the ability to arrest people and issue citations. I was very surprised when I heard what I heard downstairs tonight, that this was a revelation. Because these were the issues. I mean, we sat there in this room and talked about the cars that couldn't be towed or moved up at the Rutland Mall because they didn't have anybody.
Parking on the islands.
We get
on
the
the
phone
green.
calls here, Charlie gets them. You know, why can't I have access to that mall? Why don't you do your job as a municipality? You know, the answer was, we were asleep at the switch, quite frankly, when they got their permit, and we made no conditions. So we had real living history. So I'm really surprised as to what I heard, because they knew what our concern was. They knew this town didn't have a full-time police department. And it was very clear. That was this issue about carrying guns and all that, quite frankly, I don't understand this. The town's perspective all along, if you look at the record and the history, and our representation was to provide that law enforcement issue, because we didn't have it.
But if you want a written opinion from Mark Sperry, you can get that.
And Mark will be here later, if it's not already.
Well, I don't like to spring
No,
things
he
like
won't be
that on them.
prepared, but.
No, but we can,
No,
no.
just ask them to make one up and send it down.
Yeah, I think we should have a copy of an opinion of the enforceability of the agreement and the interpretation of that particular paragraph.
You can send that
You
back.
can send it down to
Yeah,
us.
yeah, because he's got a copy of this, quite sure.
Regional planning issues?
No, I haven't had a meeting yet. Meetings, I think the first one was 20th or 23rd.
It's on the bypass.
Well, there's a meeting next week, I don't know if you
Right.
want Joe send out a postcard or put a notice in the paper. May 22nd, at 5:30 at the library. There's quite a lot of people.
Is that a public forum?
Yeah, it's a public
Okay.
meeting. It's same as, the last one I guess they had was almost a year ago. The last one was at the Holiday Inn.
Always send out cards anytime.
Yeah, we usually send out cards, and it's what's discussion of the environmental consequences of all the routes, the power line, 1,100 foot, and the Westerly and Wheelerville.
What do you folks think? Send out card notices again, like we always have?
Whatever you send everybody. How do we send that?
We would mail them off the voter checklist, and we would send them to all the registered voters. That gets you in more households than anything else. In the grand list, a lot of things go out of state at that point.
Okay.
We've done it
Who
before.
who goes traditionally, David? Who are we looking at? The same people that go every time, or?
It's been quite varied. There's been about 100 people at all these meetings. There's been about 4 or 5 of them. Usually the public shows up better than the committee members do, like half the committee's there and a lot of the public. It seems to be really varied. It's not always the same people. It's been quite a cross-section, mostly Rutland Town people, about 80% Rutland Town, some, you know, some Mendon, some Rutland City.
I guess I'm asking, who are the Rutland Town people that attend? I mean, do we have?
Well, people that,
Rutland Town people there?
somewhere.
well, they live along the routes primarily, people power line route, and then since they changed the 1,000
I
foot.
guess what I'm asking is, do we traditionally get like 25 to 30 Rutland Town people there?
More than that, usually, more like 50 or 60, 70.
Because, I mean,
The biggest,
to do a,
Dave's right, the biggest share
to
people
do a
there.
20, what are we talking about? We do a household mailing, Joe, not a registered voter mailing, right?
We do cards, I don't know what you call those.
Yeah, but I mean, do they do the household mailing?
Oh, we do the voter checklist.
You do the voter, so each individual gets one?
We
so
get
if
in each
there's-
household once. in other
Right,
words.
that's what I'm saying, you
Yeah.
do a household
You know-
mailing, so you're looking at
I'll tell you, Bill,
1,300
Yeah.
pieces?
I know your point, and I've watched sometimes, and actually, some of the turnouts have been low, like 1% or something. But this one, I think David's right, there's been a lot of renewed interest. A lot of people are just realizing that they refined the route. And I've had a lot of people come into this office in Dick's in the past month. So it probably would be a good time, but traditionally, it doesn't get a lot of people to turn out, but there is a lot of new interest, I know.
I think more and more people too, the longer this wears on, the more and more people are getting fed up with the fact that they haven't chosen a route. So you're gonna see more people that may be concerned about selling their homes and things that they weren't looking at years ago.
There's a higher awareness level of what's going on, but I guess my point here is that rather than spending $300 or $400 or $500 to do a mailing, it may be better if we did an ad in the paper and maybe even did one in the Tribune, so that you know, we can not only get our own people, but get other people too. But you know, you may make it
You
attention
know,
Rutland Town residents. Charles,
Got that new newspaper.
Yeah, I just gonna say that, he brought up paper, we got a new newspaper all the
is
time.
that being mailed or is that?
No, picked it up at,
It's set around at different establishments.
Yeah, call them. They'd
15,
probably be
20
happy to put it.
it would have to be tomorrow, Joe, 'cause I think they send it for press. on
Tribune, you'd have to
Tuesdays.
get in tomorrow.
We'd have to move quickly.
And so doesn't, the new town one.
But I think for a couple $100, you can probably do
I know
as
it goes
much
press tomorrow,
advertising
and
as
this,
you
and this
can with a
would have to be
mailing,
on this
because
one,
that's
right?
gonna take the girls some time to prepare that and whatever, you know?
Well, I can type up the notice, I get it out to Garrow, it probably has a couple
Yeah,
days.
you just get it,
turnaround,
yeah.
And then we basically stick the labels on after I run the labels, so. We talked about tying up about, well, if there's two of us, probably 3-4 hours of time just to stick labels. If I did it, it usually takes a whole day.
Yeah, it's gonna be close to $100 for the printing.
Printing and the mailing all comes to about a little under $400, typically for these kind of cards. So it's under $400, what you're looking at.
Yeah. So I mean, we probably,
What's the pleasure of the board?
I just soon do some ads in the paper.
Karen?
Well, how much are the ads in the paper gonna cost?
You're talking maybe a couple $100 there.
A couple
Well,
$100
easily.
maybe.
An ad this size, $65, $70. That's square.
I think I'd rather do the mailing, at least
Yeah.
at this meeting.
We've always done mailing.
Yeah. Yeah, let's do it this time, Bill, and then I think what Bill is saying is well taken, something, you know, there's no need to send in a card out every time. But maybe this time we ought to.
If we have 500-600 people
Yeah, I agree
showing
with
up
you.
at these
Yeah.
things,
No.
then I'd say, yeah,
But-
the mailing is well worth it. But the fact
I
that
agree.
you're getting less than 100 people there from Rutland Town, I think an ad in the
You know-
paper.
you know-
The people that are conscious of what's going on there are gonna be aware of it anyway.
Let's do this, let's send the cards this time, and then there's a sign-up sheet there when whoever goes. And then we could take those names, and next time, probably just put an ad in the paper and
I'm
send
sure we
those
could
people a
probably-
card, because you'll know they're,
You
you know,
could probably
interested parties.
get copies of the sign-up sheets for the
That's
last
right,
2
we're
years
interested.
and see who's
Yeah, you
attending
could do
these
that,
things
right,
and
yeah.
find out if
Yeah.
if
Let's
it's
send them
actually
this year.
worthwhile
I'd rather,
for the mailing.
this time, I'd rather be sure that everybody knew than to have some not have known and wanted to.
John Paul?
But it's well taken what you're
Send them.
saying. Yeah.
Okay, we'll send them, it's been a year. It's not like we're sending them every week.
Not being facetious, but if you've got their minutes from 2 years ago, it's gonna be the same thing for next Wednesday, right, Dave?
I don't know what they're gonna do.
Same thing, you hear the same thing.
Joe's and Galley?
Just a couple items I wanted to refer to the packet. Just let you know you got that handwritten letter from Bob Moore. John Poirier, myself, and Bill Mattson, and Pete Andrews, Ken Naprakowski, and Dave Harris walked the sewer project today. We met with several landowners. I don't think they're insurmountable issues. These are fairly minor issues of restoration. And I think Bob feels as though we're going to be addressing this, and I asked him to write that just so you would know.
Okay.
Received a call from the custodian up at the school, and who informed me that the school board would like the town to come back in and clean up where we installed the water line over to the Biggood residence. Evidently, I guess there's either been some settling on their property, or they're just not happy with any restoration work that we may have done. I believe we signed off on that with Byron. I think Kip did a site visit. I could be wrong. I believe we signed off as far as Hathaway's involvement was at some point, several weeks after the job, after he came back and recompacted under Post Road. So now the school wants the town to come up and do some work. I haven't looked at that. I don't know what it entails.
I have no idea.
But the question would be, should we do it? And if so, do we try to go back on Byron?
Well, I would talk to Byron about it.
I'd give him a call first and just tell him that there's some concerns that Jeff has up there, and stop by and see him, and get back to you on it, Joe, and let you know what he's
Maybe I'll
gonna
go
do.
with them, so we'll have.
If
Is
we
this
have-
coming also from the school board, or is this just?
He says the school board told him to call and to relay this message. So that's what I'm working on. I don't have a letter or anything. And speaking of school board, we haven't heard back on our request for them to deed this building to the town. So
You will be.
What's that?
You will be.
Okay, yeah. We haven't heard back. Some good news, you saw in your packet, I don't believe it's been reported yet, that, not major news, but the city and the Russell Corp lost their summary judgment motion against the town on that Gleason Road water line. They basically told the judge, look, it's a zoning issue. These guys never issued a permit, therefore nothing holds. And the court rejected that and said, it's not a zoning issue. You know, there's other issues here too. And so we're gonna go and battle it out. I think that's the nutshell version of what happened there. You saw in your packet, I had a proposal from Craig Kepler from last year for those concrete pad work. I didn't include there the diagrams and the drawings. They were larger than what you would normally get. But I have that, so if we want to enter, should we call some prospective bidders and ask them to bid, or do we put a notice out, or how do you want to handle that? We've got some specs as to what we think is needed, so they can look at those plans and probably proceed with it.
This is for,
Some concrete pads in front of the recycling, where we had the the hazmat day there, though, right there with the dirt area.
there were some questions about the 5 foot being adequate and that. Did you check that out, or?
I haven't checked, I looked back in our file to what Kepler produced, he felt, and you don't have the diagrams, they're next door, I can get them for you.
That was from the original,
Well, it was an afterthought, we thought of this after we built the facility, and we were gonna go out last year and install them, we chose not to.
You're only talking about
Right.
extending 5
So-
feet of concrete out from the building?
That's what Greg felt would have been necessary at the time.
That's not very far.
who's this, Greg? This is from Greg?
Greg Kepler, yeah.
Says, I recommend you confirm the desired width along back of building without nicking to ensure 5 foot wide is adequate. Sounds to me like he's questioning.
I think so.
Well, I envision something a lot wider than that.
8 to 9.
Maybe 10 feet?
Yeah, I'd say 9 feet minimum.
Yeah. That's a pretty
The roll-offs are pretty wide.
narrow strip down
Well,
there.
I'd have to go up there and look.
Bring your tape with you.
Why don't we go up sometime when they're gonna be unloading something, Rod, and we can observe it and see how they do it. I mean, do they back
Problem
right
is,
into
they
the
come in there
bay?
and then yeah, well, no, they.
Well, we can call Kevin
They
and find
push.
out when they're gonna do one, or schedule it, so that, you know,
Drop
either
it
you
into the
or
dirt,
I or
then they
both
back
of
up.
us.
Yeah.
They drop it into the dirt, and they back the truck up, push it in like that.
Well, that's what
and
I
they pull
wanna
out
see
from
how they're
underneath it.
doing it.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never seen them do it.
No.
I've
I never
seen
have
them
either.
do it other places, but not up there. And, if it's gonna be 20 feet out, then let's do it 20 feet. I
Well,
don't,
they're talking width there, not how far out are they?
yeah, they're talking
feet
width
out
out from the building.
No.
Let me set something
Width
up
out
for
from
you
the
now.
building or width,
Yeah.
width of the pad? The way you read it, I'm saying, I thought they said the width of the pad,
Well,
not the
Yeah,
depth.
the
pad
pad
ends right
from
at
the
the edge
back
of
of
the
the
building.
building, Charlie. The building's what, 60 feet
No, no, no,
long,
no,
or?
no. The way Rod read it, I thought you were talking how wide that pad's gonna be, not the depth of it from the building.
no, the depth,
Oh, the depth.
the depth of the pad.
It says width, but it's depth.
But he's looking at it
You know, it's
Right.
either wide or deep, you know, it can't be both though.
All it's doing is extending 5 feet of concrete out from the building.
Like up or down, huh, Charlie?
The whole
Right
length.
Man,
I think the site visit would be best. I've watched them drop them, and actually, Greg actually was looking at some of the skid marks, and I think he made that. It's pretty close to the building. They try to get as close as
That's
they
what
can.
I'm saying, I mean, then,
But I think the site visit will show you a few things.
right. We wanna make sure it's adequate, there's no point doing it.
I'll set something up so you guys can, and Rod's right, they go up there all hours of the day. They could be up there at 8 in the morning.
But I mean, we can call them and
4:30.
find out when they're gonna have one up there, and I'm sure they'll,
Yeah, we'll find out. The recycling contract, speaking of RST, is up at the end of the month, and the board wanted me to let you know that, so you remind you of that. I think you might want to talk to Tony a little bit about his satisfaction, the way things have been going up there. He sees them the most. But frankly, I haven't had too many calls, so judging on what I see, it's been going okay. But he's there more than I am, so he would know. That's the last item I had, and as you know, I'll talk to you about the E911. I don't know if you want to do that now or when.
Yeah, Dick is still tied up in another meeting downstairs. You might as well.
Okay. Well, first question I'd like to ask is, we talked about a couple scenarios by the number of lots and by the year the development was built. And if you can give me an answer as to which way you want to go, then we can go through the list and you can decide which streets, what the new names will be. But we need to know first, if you go by lots, those are the streets that would change. If you go by year, those are the streets that would change. And there's, I believe,
well, we can use a combination too, we don't have to do everything.
you can do whatever you want, and those were suggested. And then there's one exception, which is Park Lane. The exception there being it runs into another municipality, and to change that would cause problems for the municipality, even though it may not have been the first one built or the one with the most houses, throwing it into a special category.
Do we have to adopt the street name ordinance or anything?
Yes,
or-
we do, and it is here. Town of Rutland, road name and road location addressing ordinance. One component of this is that map, and you have to vote to adopt the map, and that's, but before you can adopt it, you've got to agree on what the names are going to be, and that's why we're still on
Okay,
this.
so that's the
The
stage
step
we're at
first,
now.
then we go to that.
Park Lane, I think we discussed that before, and it's my feeling that it should remain Park Lane because it continues into Mendon. And to have the street name changed,
It's under both of them anyway, so it's
Mid-road.
will be there.
I think that should stay the same. You gonna go right down the list here, or?
Sure. Susan Drive.
Susan
Lane.
Drive and Susan Lane. Susan Drive is in Colonial Estates, Joe?
Which one is that now?
Susan Drive.
Yeah, Drive is in
Susan
Colonial.
Drive is in Colonial,
Yeah, that's Colonial.
and the other Susan is, Susan Lane is up
Grandview?
Up Killington Avenue.
Yeah, Grandview Lake.
Susan Lane is the oldest, right?
Yeah,
The Fuchsia one, yes.
yeah, Grandview Lake.
And Susan Drive, I've discussed this with Joe, and I think Charlie, I've mentioned it to you too. In Colonial Estates, I think everybody's familiar with Susan Drive comes in at the lower end and goes up all the way around and becomes Phillip
Phillip,
Terrace.
yeah.
Again, you've got a
That
situation
should be all
where
one, right.
mid-road,
Yeah,
you're
it
changing the
changes.
name. And my recommendation would
Make it all
be
Phillip
that
Terrace?
we change it
Yeah.
all to
Yeah.
Colonial Drive.
Yeah, absolutely.
Both of them?
Both
Phillip
of them.
Terrace
Just
and,
make the whole thing Susan Drive and
Phillip.
Phillip Terrace, all Colonial Drive.
Should be all one, yeah.
I've talked with a few of the landowners up there, and I don't think anybody, I don't know how Joe's
No.
response has been. I think some people just would like to throw out a,
Those that did respond threw out some names. Some suggested either calling it all Philip, or some decided to call it all Georgiana. So this is in keeping with some of the suggestions we heard.
the reason I suggest Colonial Drive is because we don't have anything even close to that.
Except for Colonial Estates.
It's in Colonial Estates,
Yeah.
so it's easy to,
Yeah.
related.
people, yeah, you know,
You
just
can't
like
mess, because if
countryside
you head for Colonial
estates.
Estates, you're gonna end up in Colonial Drive.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's the way it should be done.
Yeah.
So I would suggest that.
David Road, Davies Circle, and Davis Drive. What are we looking at, Joe, for,
Well, on Davy
possibilities?
Circle, Davy Circle only has, I believe, 4 houses, so if you go by number of lots, it would change. We have had a recommendation on Chickadee Circle, a resident up there, and as far as the other David's, depending on which way you want to go, if you went the other way, David Road would
Change
change.
either way.
Yeah. No, we're talking 2 different ones, that one here. Davy Circle is the one they proposed to go to Chickadee.
That's the one they
So if
put-
that changes, David would stay the way it is. Right?
Yeah.
And
Well,
then
you
the
have
other one was
Davis.
Davis. Davis has to be changed, and no suggestions there. I penciled in Robin Lane because I was on this bird thing at the time, so.
Did you do
Where's
Chickadee
where's
also,
Dave,
or-
where's Davis?
Someone called that in,
Chickadee
yeah.
up there?
Where's Davis? Is that out in countryside?
It's where Karen
That's in countryside.
Yeah, that's the one, the last
The
little
last turn, yeah.
Behind you?
It's been a nightmare from day
Yeah.
one.
That's
Because it
where
goes
is.
from one street,
Yeah.
you just turn the corner,
Yeah.
you're still on the
Change
same
another
street
one.
and they change names.
Why don't we just keep the same name?
Yeah, before you come down around the corner, because I suggested when we didn't used to have
Timmy
delivery up
Perry
there.
on Davis?
Yes.
Okay, so Davis is the
So it's over
lower
and it
one.
meets,
Lower one,
The other
the
one.
upper
Meadow.
one's the main one.
Meadow comes all the way,
Yeah.
Yeah,
is
he
it
thought-
Meadow Drive?
Meadow Drive goes all the way around, for instance, where Norm Latterbush lives is on Meadow
Right.
Drive.
And then comes back down
Then it
onto
goes back
Davis.
around.
It changes to
It
Davis.
moves in and comes into Davis.
Well, let's name that one Countryside Drive, like
Right.
Colonial
Yeah.
Drive.
Right, the whole loop.
Okay, so.
Why, you wouldn't Davis
Davis is,
also, or?
that was an unapproved section of the street because they all had to get their mail up on the corner. We didn't go down in there because we came back to Middle Road for years, and then they petitioned to go down and come out. So I would go to the countryside.
So we
Yeah,
choose
that's
Meadow.
Davis too?
Davis
I mean,
and Meadow and the
essentially-
countryside drive.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're all gonna be numbered houses anyway.
Right, and plus you're gonna alleviate some of the problem with, I mean, David sounds very close when somebody's in an emergency.
Meadow Drive, we got Meadow Lake Drive,
And,
we got
yeah.
Meadow Way, we got Meadow Lane between the city and the town.
Right, I don't have a problem with changing Meadow Drive to Countryside Drive or whatever it's gonna be. But what you have here is you have, can I use a board?
Sure.
Just
It's
draw
a
you a little.
continuation of Meadow Drive, Davis is, isn't it?
Oh.
Yeah.
It's a lake street.
It's a little different than that. Essentially, you've got the East Pittsford Road along here, and then you got Davis Drive coming in like this, coming down like that, then you have Davis, I'm sorry, this is Meadow Drive.
Right, then you got
Then you
Davis
have
coming
Davis
up.
coming up
Right.
like this and tying back into Meadow Drive. So essentially, you'd have this kind of loop, be like naming 2 different streets.
Is that middle one Davis?
Yes,
Is it too?
it makes sense, the proposal.
It wouldn't create a problem as far as numbering or anything?
No, because there is no numbers now, they'll have to be assigned. We can work something out.
Well, I mean, as far as a sequence.
I'm sure we can work something out if we went up,
All the way around the
we
loop.
go around,
Or
could go all the way around the
turn
outside, then
up
come
the
back
upper
in
one,
or something, we'll work it out.
See, I'm wondering
I think you have that.
That's interesting.
if you'd be better off coming, like, starting at East Pittsford Road, go right up around Meadow, or make that all
To some extent.
Countryside, come back down to East Pittsford Road, make that all one street name, and then
Right,
the
it's
connection
It
between.
scares me a little bit. Somebody will go up in, what are you gonna call it? Countryside Drive?
Countryside Drive.
And
or
they'll take
whatever.
the first left, they make follow Countryside Drive all the way back to
Countryside
7, to East Pittsford Road, then have to go back in to find the upper loop. It could be a little
Yeah.
How
confusing.
many's on that lower loop? Only 3, 4 houses?
No, there's probably about 5 or
Oh, there's at least that, aren't there?
yeah.
Maybe I ought to split it then.
That's the only concern I'd have is the way they tie together. If they didn't
Yeah.
tie together, it wouldn't be a problem, but.
Yeah.
Number-wise.
See what I'm
we
saying,
can
Bill?
tie 'em together.
Bill? See what I'm saying? The ambulance will turn in Countryside Drive. That first left is Countryside Drive as well, straight ahead, so you'll probably take the first left. You follow that probably all the way down to East Pittsford Road again. Then he's gotta do something to go back up to the upper.
But I think you can
If
do
the
that
house
with
numbers are
signs too.
displayed properly,
Well, yeah, you
this is the other
can.
component. If the house numbers are displayed properly on that house in the corner, they're gonna know which way they're supposed to be going. Because they'll know the house number of the call that came in. So when they get to that intersection, John, if it's displayed properly, they should be able to find their way.
Yeah, but you see the corner there coming in on the closest
You can't
one to you,
number.
Joe?
Yeah.
There's no houses on that
You
corner.
can't number them in continuity, that's what I'm saying.
Right.
The way that is, you can't, no.
No,
See,
no.
you can't, I'm a little
You're gonna
worried about
double
that,
back.
think about that.
If you go around the loop and come down.
Yeah, you can't do it,
out-
yeah.
Out back
I
around.
think we can work this out.
Well, you can
Yeah.
make the Middle Street Countryside Drive.
Huh?
The other one, no,
Make the
right?
Middle Street, you wanna eliminate the Davis conflict, right?
Yeah, but
Davis
you want to
and Meadow.
eliminate Meadow too.
Yeah,
You wanna
there's too many
eliminate
Meadows
both
out
of them.
there, Meadow Lane, Meadow Way,
Yeah, because Meadows
Meadow-
got another issue with.
Meadow
the
Brook
Meadows.
Drive, there's a lot of meadows out there.
Are you gonna have 2 new names or 1 new name, I think is the question.
I think so too.
I think we ought to let Joe take a look at it a little bit further and see how it could be broken down, because I'm not exactly sure how
Well, one of the approaches we're looking at,
Meadow comes
though,
back into Davis right now.
with the plan I've already submitted, which has been accepted, which came through here, we adopted the same numbering proposal scheme as the way the mail is delivered now. I had the mail person come in, you showed me the route, the way it's delivered within that neighborhood, and we said, this is how we will number. Okay? They didn't know that we might be changing some street names, but we've submitted a proposal of how we're gonna number that, and no one's questioned it. So, now that we're changing the name, it may change it a little bit, but I don't think it can be dealt with.
You could name one Countryside Drive and the other Countryside Lane.
No, you want to
Well,
avoid
yeah,
that.
that's
what
gonna
you're
cause
trying to
more
eliminate.
problems.
So without, as long as they're in the same development, it wouldn't be a problem.
Well, that's why we got Sunset, Sunrise.
Yeah, because they're all the same.
See, you can't number them the way the post office did, because the mailboxes are all on one side of most of those streets. And you got odds and evens when you start numbering the houses. So if you come down around Meadow Drive and down to Davis, all the boxes are gonna be on the right. You turn around, come back up Davis and go out to the right, back onto 7, all the boxes are on the right. So, but when you start staggering them, you can't do that when you number houses. If you number mailboxes, you can do it, but you can't do it on numbering houses. Because you're zigzagging. Odds and evens. So you could get into a problem there. You have to take a look at
We
it.
could go 2 names and get it done with
I think you'd be
tonight,
better off,
rather than hold
like
off
you
for 2
said.
weeks.
Could do that. I'd suggest that Meadow go to Countryside,
But we want to eliminate that one, though.
Countryside Drive.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
Eliminate Meadow and go with Countryside Drive.
you change Davis to,
Brothers Lane.
I ain't getting enough trouble without you helping me.
What would you name the other one, Karen?
What were the suggestions for that one?
There wasn't any, I came up with Robin Lane because, like I said, no one,
Well, that was all the, Davis estate.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
right, that's where the
Yeah.
name came from.
What about Russell?
That'd be nice. Russell Drive, we don't have a
Got
Russell
the-
Drive.
You know, Russell family's still there. and-
Yeah, that wouldn't be bad,
The Davis family doesn't feel offended.
yeah. Well,
It was their land.
yeah,
that's why birds were safe.
Well,
Pick a bird.
Bob,
and knock it out.
who is it, Bob, the son, or, the son's out in California. You know, the original owners are both deceased.
Oh, yeah.
well, unless
And
you
Len
make,
Johnson's,
unless you
the
make
daughter.
Meadow into Russell and leave Davis like it is.
No,
You
Davis
can't. Davis has
got
gotta
a
be
conflict with
changed
another
because
street.
of
Yeah,
David and Dave.
Drive, yeah, too close.
I would suggest you go with that one as Russell because, you know, that's a farm right across the road. What do you think, Karen? You live right there, so.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with it, but I don't live on that section.
She lives
You're
on
copping out again.
Pittsburgh Road. in
No, I
Pittsburgh.
just feel it is a priority for us, and I realize there are some people who are upset about having their addresses changed, but I think more importantly, especially in a rural area like we live, it is imperative that rescue people be able to find these people, and I think for everything it's going to work out far more conveniently. I mean, I order stuff from UPS and they deliver it all over the road because they have no idea where they're going. And if you get a different driver, they don't know. I mean, and you're talking about people in an emergency situation and a dispatcher is trying to listen to what they're saying, and with too many street names that are the same. I mean, I get them for garage sales on weekends, people calling, where is this street, where is that? You know, because there are just too many different street names and people don't know if it's in the town or the city or where it is. So I think it's real important that we get these streets changed and we get this done.
Yeah, you got it, Joe?
Want to go to Russell Drive?
Got it.
Next
Got it.
Next street?
Next one.
Let's see here. been, okay, Meadow Way. We need to deal with Meadow Way.
He's got away with Meadow Drive, you need to.
Yeah,
do
you
Meadow Way.
could forget Meadowway.
There's three, isn't there? There's Meadow.
Meadow Way, Meadow
There was
Drive.
Meadow Way and Meadow Drive.
Yeah, so
Meadow
you're all
Lake.
set,
Then
Joe.
there's Meadow Lake Drive,
Which is
so
Meadow.
Meadow Way
Alright,
Yeah,
hasn't
it's completely
changed.
different, yeah.
But
There's
there's,
in Mendon.
and there's Meadow Lane.
I'd say
Too,
leave,
isn't it?
I'd say in that
Okay,
situation
no, we're
there,
all set. 'cause
Meadow
we-
Lane.
leave Meadowway right alone.
Off Wall Street.
Yeah,
Right,
forget
Meadow-
it.
By the church
It was
right
only
there
if
on
we
the
went
right.
by
Thanks.
the fewest that we would have to change that.
Yeah,
So,
leave it alone. Sure.
Sunset, Sunset Lane.
Okay, hold on, Meadow Drive goes to Countryside.
Drive,
And Davis goes to
Right.
Russell.
goes to Russell Drive. On Sunset Lane,
And it's agreed that Meadow Lake Drive doesn't come into play here because it's
there's so
outside
many
of the.
towns and no one feels they can deal with that one. Sunset, Sunset
You'll have fun
Lane.
with this.
Yeah, Sunset Drive,
It's
Sunset
been
Lane,
suggested that
Sunrise.
it be called Victoria Drive.
Yeah, all the way
since
around.
It's a fork that splits, and in fact, when Mr. LaVictory completes his project, he will connect these roads, so they will
Goes
move up.
right around, that'd be
So
beautiful.
it makes a lot of sense to
For which one, Joe?
Sunset
Sunset
Lane.
Lane.
Well, it'll all be Victoria Drive.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a good move there.
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay, now Sunrise Lane, I don't have any suggestions for you on that one. It's a very short street, a dead end, tucked in between the other two Sunrises, well, actually it's on the end.
First left on Hitchell.
Yeah, it's up
yeah.
Pittsville, it's above Farnham Lane, it's one of
No.
the short cul-de-sacs.
No, Farnham is the second.
Yeah,
Sunrise is
I know
first.
you-
Right, that 4 houses,
Yeah.
3 houses.
I'm not
Down
sure.
the left, yeah.
We had no suggestions from the public on that one, so.
Which one's that?
Sunrise.
Sunrise
Lane.
That's the one up above?
That's the first one on the left when you drive down.
The first one on the left as you're coming down. Pittsville.
What-
The house you built on the right, Bill, with
Where you
three-car
took
garage,
Across the street.
that one
Right
right
across
across the
the
road
street.
there.
We're around.
Down in the hole where they built the cul-de-sac.
Okay, where Bob Moore used to live.
No, we built Seward's house,
Where
Bill.
Marilyn Garland
Where
lives.
where you built Seward's house.
Right across the
Marlon lives
street.
on Farnham Lane,
The one
That's
above,
the next one down, that's the second one.
the other cul-de-sac.
Next one down.
so it's the one up right
Yeah,
across the
right.
street from that.
Yeah.
That's
Yes.
where Bob Moore used to live.
No, he used to live.
No,
he
he
lived down,
He's down in
Victoria.
Sunrise, down in, where did we just change it from, to Victoria?
Down
Well,
around the
didn't he
rock.
own Godbout's property up
No,
there?
he lived down
Yeah.
on
Oh,
that,
Bob Godbout.
on
bought
that
the
Sunset
extra
Lane,
lot
we
that
just
he
changed to
had
Victoria, that's where he
Had a
lived.
lot there,
Down
Bill.
on the rock on Victoria.
Yep.
To the right.
there. No, Bob Godbout.
Oh,
Yeah,
you're
but
talking
maybe,
about Bob Moore.
maybe Moore owned the lot there, but he never
I
lived
thought he
there.
bought the extra lot that Bob Moore had.
How about Daybreak? Sunrise, Daybreak?
Yeah.
Daybreak?
Yeah, that'll work.
And we leave Sunset Drive alone.
Yes.
So we're changing Sunrise to,
Daybreak.
Let's go with
Daybreak Lane.
Yeah, let's go with Lane. And that takes care of it.
Well, you gotta go back to, you gotta move the circle,
Daybreak's
right?
before sunrise.
We need to do a Davy Circle?
Um,
Call
How
it
about-
Chicopee if that's what they want.
Chickadee is what they're gonna
how
have
about
to do.
Sand Hill Circle?
But the residents want Chickadee, give them
Since
Chickadee.
that whole area
Right,
up
three
there
houses
was
in
called,
there.
has
Matter of
been
fact,
called
one of
Sand
them
Hill.
It's brand new. One of them, I mean,
Forever.
they just moved.
What's that?
The middle house there, the lady just sold, just moved.
Stevens.
Somebody knew.
They
Yeah.
just moved.
We did get one call from up there, and they did suggest Chickadee Circle.
I think I would, since there's only 3 houses though, I would call the other 2 people and ask if they wanna live on Chickadee Drive.
Yeah, this spot, personally, I think Sand Hill, that whole area up there has been called Sand Hill for years and years and years.
But you know, Bill, the only problem with that is, I live in Rutland, and I have all my life, and there's several areas referred to as
It's Sand Hill.
Quite frankly, it's
I
Well,
thought
what I'm-
Marty McCurrier's
there.
development was kinda Sand Hill too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that was all part of this,
I know it was.
this whole thing up there, so that's why I'm saying it's Sand Hill Drive, or Sand Hill Circle.
That takes care of it. All right. I will call the Davy Circle people and.
They don't mind being called.
Well, you got
Chickadee.
5 people up there, you know that.
Yeah, run both names by and see what they want.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, well, we took care of our 911, you can't vote tonight, hopefully we'll be able to vote at the next meeting.
Okay.
We're off meeting, so back to the agenda.
Board to discuss vehicle overworry permit condition.
Yes, I reviewed that with JP before the meeting, and, well, it's, tell me what you think of
Yeah, we ought to have the property damage limit specified. Every deck sheet on every policy list, whether it's 50, we require 100. If they don't want to put 100 in, they don't get the permit. Or if they have a combined single limit, they can put including, but it's got to be a minimum of 100,000. Those are our requirements.
Okay, everybody understand?
I think that's what the thing read anyway before.
Yeah, there's a full place on the
Yeah.
form for it.
Yeah.
I don't know why they don't want to break it out.
Yeah, we've been through this discussion before, and we were very concerned that there wasn't enough coverage there. And John looked at it, and he said there
How
should
do you
be.
collect from somebody? You got 20 permits using Grove Street. And
You
got-
almost got to have a specific instance, Charlie. You can't
Yeah.
prorate it against everybody, but it's the best protection. I mean, it's the only protection you can get, but you almost have to have a specific instance that you can say, hey, your truck was seen going off the shoulder and breaking it up, that kind of thing.
Running over the end of a culvert and smashing it.
Otherwise, there's no way to quantify it. You know,
No,
you
we don't.
recognize the problem because you saw it happen right where you live.
Yeah, but we let it go right by the wayside. We had that outfit from Maine, that was the primary contractor. Let him settle it up, but he's 4 states away right now, and he left money in escrow, and the word I got is that he's just gonna say to hell with it.
Everybody agree that we need the permits, I believe that's where they are right now.
Or John actually has suggested they can say included, which is something new, and that might be what they're looking for. So I'll pass it along, that they could either show it as being there, or just make the statement that it is included.
As long as it's a minimum of
A
100,000.
minimum, yeah.
That's what
I've got that in there.
Agreed? Okay. Dick's not up here, Tim Perry's not here. I don't know why Dick's taking so long, he said he may have something to bring up. We have Mark Sperry here, we've got a couple items on here for him. Superior Court suit in executive session regarding Michael Shahan, former school board member's contention of the election situation, and also a tax appeal discussion with Mark, also executive session.
This thing with Shahan, can Mark give us some kind of, tell us what's going on? I mean, I don't understand this, all of a sudden,
I can do that in executive session or out if you want, it doesn't matter to me.
That is
We
pending
just don't do it
litigation.
out.
Pending litigation, it's up to you.
Pardon me?
It's pending litigation, it's up to you.
Well, did I see that?
I'd like to know how we got involved in it.
You got sued.
No, I mean, the selectmen.
How you got involved in it?
As I understand, this was a court case, and we're being asked to make a decision here tonight?
I need some guidance from you folks as to how to deal with it.
I guess Mark will say, he doesn't know how we're involved in this.
The town got sued, Bill.
Yeah,
We're
I read the
defending it.
paper, Mark,
We're
I know
defending
that.
it, and I need to deal with, I need some guidance as to how to deal with it, and I
Well, even
think
beyond
Del
that.
Bianco feels, I guess, that I should talk to the board.
Okay, let's go back a little further, okay? Apparently the town got sued. You got involved through, not through me or the board, you got involved through Dick,
Dick
called you.
sent it up to me and asked me to file an answer and an appearance. And I
That was
did.
not a board action, he did that on his own, as town clerk.
Yeah.
Okay. I want that for the record, because.
Just before he was going away on a vacation, as
Right.
I recall. I filed an answer, I moved to dismiss on the grounds that indispensable parties hadn't been joined, namely Ms. McCormick and the school board, or the school district, Town of Rutland School District. The judge granted that motion. Mr. McCormick, Mr. Shahan then moved to amend his complaint to join them as parties, and they have, the school board answered through John Fagnan, their attorney, and basically admitted all the allegations of the complaint, as I recall. Maybe there were a few denials. And Ms. McCormick filed an answer also. The issue is that apparently over at the school, there were 2 polling places, and over at the school, she was mistakenly informed that she had to be outside of the polling place in order to solicit the statute says you have to be out of the whole building. She was not out of the polling area, but I don't know, somewhere in another part of the building. It's a school, big building. She was there from 9 to 3.
And the judges made a decision?
No.
I'd like to make a motion that we go into executive session to discuss pending litigation.
Okay, I think I'll second that. This is kind of confusing. I don't know anything about it. It is litigation. I don't know anything about it. I knew this thing was going on, but I mean, what's put before us, I don't know. Do you know what's?
I have no idea.
I don't know
why
what's
we're
put
involved
before
in
us.
this
That's why
at
I'm
this
here.
point.
Yeah,
I
okay.
need some
All
guidance.
right.
Okay.
I knew the thing was going on, but this is in our agenda tonight, and I don't know what it's about.
Okay, we have a motion and a
So-
second. Now we have some discussion. I would like to, as part of this discussion, disqualify myself because my wife is on the school board. And this is a quite involved issue regarding the election of a school board member. So I feel obligated to disqualify myself and leave it up to the rest of the board to deal with the issue.
Well, the motion's been made and seconded.
I'll call for the question. All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
It's a 2-2. You have no chair.
No, so it's no,
So it's open
it's
discussion, I
open,
guess.
yeah.
Okay,
So-
well, it's not a very difficult issue, so I've told you where we are with it. The statute on election contests says that, if I can get it out, bear with me.
Mark, while you're looking for that, let me just say that both of the candidates have agreed there should be a new election, and the school board, in deference to the candidates, has agreed there should be a new election. The only question is whether the town agrees there should be a new election.
Well, I was going to get to that.
You were looking for your papers.
We had a pre-hearing conference last week. Judge Norton said, it looks like there was an irregularity in this election. I said, oh. He said, yeah, Ms. McCormick has admitted there was an irregularity in the election. I said, oh, because she hadn't sent me a copy of her answer. So anyway, that got sent up to me. Judge said, why don't I just order a new election? I said, I can't agree to that without talking to the school board, or the select board, because the town is my client, and I can't make agreements on behalf of my client without going to my client. And there's the options you have are don't agree, and then the plaintiff is required to show that errors were committed in the conduct of the election sufficient to change its outcome. I don't know how he proves that. Or agree to what the judge suggests. My recommendation is that because Ms. McCormick agrees to a new election, Mr. Shane agrees to a new election, the school board agrees to a new election, that the school board authorized me to tell the judge that the town agrees to a new election. Simple as that.
Yeah, I honestly
Everybody
don't,
understand?
I honestly don't know how we could go against the candidates in the school board. If they all
Well,
agree.
if
We're
they're
paying for it.
I understand that, but I guess what I'm saying is, it's a school board issue. We're in it because we're paying for it.
So the school board's not paying for it,
No,
the
what I guess
town
what
is.
I'm saying is, when it comes to decision making, it's a school board issue. It was for a school board member. If the school board says, yeah, we agree with it, and the two candidates themselves say we agree with it, how can we come along and say, well, no, we don't agree with it? They're the ones at issue. We're just there because of the formality part of it, so to say, to finalize the putting the thing on. But how could we go against the school board and the two candidates? There's nobody on that end.
Because they
who
don't
can
have to
reference
pay
it.
for it.
Well, no, I understand that, but are we, I don't know.
Well,
Time you
let me
finish
tell you just
litigating it,
by
you
it,
could buy
but-
3 elections. It's not a cost issue.
My guess is that Judge Norton, even if we do contest it, is going to order a new election anyway. He's going to say she was there from 9 to 6.
These are the things I wanted to hear, Mark.
And
Okay.
that's my feeling, is that's what he's going to do, listen to him on the pre-hearing conference.
Art, who are all the parties named in this?
Mr. Shayan is the plaintiff. The defendants are Dick Del Bianco, Lay Adams, the town of Rutland, the town of Rutland School Board, and Ms. McCormick.
We aren't covered for this by any insurance carriers?
They sue for damages,
I don't think so.
Why
Why
wouldn't
do we
we
didn't
be?
sue? They didn't sue for damages.
Pardon me?
There's no damage claim.
I mean, as far as representation goes?
I don't think so. There's no damage claim.
I don't understand what that has to do with whether we're covered by insurance or not.
I see where Bill's coming from. There was just an error or oversight or whatever it is. Nobody did anything. It was a mistake, an error, an oversight, whatever happened. So that this thing happened. So that there's funds involved here. What are we insured for?
Most of your general liability policies exclude declaratory judgment.
In the last 8 or 9 years, I haven't seen too much that they did include.
What was that, John?
I said
They're
most of your
excluded.
general liability policies
This
exclude
is not
declaratory judgment type
something you're going to get insurance for.
Aye.
I don't expect we would get the election covered if we lost or whatever, but what I'm saying is that I don't understand why our attorney's fees wouldn't be covered, why we're not being represented by the insurance company.
Because you have to have an obligation to indemnify before you have to defend. If there's no obligation to pay any eventual outcome, then the carrier has no obligation to defend you. You have to have the duty to indemnify before you have to defend.
Well, here's where we stand the way I look at it. School board agrees. Both candidates agree. Our attorney says the judge is going to agree. How can we sit here and disagree on something like that?
So you're representing the school board here tonight, or are you a selectman?
I'm a selectman. Do I have a school board hat on?
I don't know, John. It's hard to tell sometimes.
Why, do you have a problem with that?
Huh?
Do you have a problem with that?
I don't know.
Everything I'm saying tonight is consistent with what the school board's position is in this matter. And I think it's ridiculous to delay this thing any longer when the candidates themselves say, we would like a new election. I mean, they kind of control it.
Is the board prepared to take action so we can move the meeting along?
Well, did I say?
Do we
Yeah.
pursue it or don't we pursue
I would,
it? I mean, that's the bottom line.
my recommendation is that you authorize me to call Judge Norton tomorrow and say the town has no objection to an order for new election, in light of the fact that the parties themselves agree that the two candidates that there ought to be a new election.
Dick?
Well, the school board will pay for the printing of the ballots. I mean, we can put that up onto them. And now that we're not going to use an exit poll list, exit checklist, we eliminate 3 people, so the cost can come down. So for the town, could run into $1,000. The school board.
Cost us more than that to pursue it, right? To go any further with it?
Good.
I don't think so, because I think Judge Norton's going to issue his order anyway. I don't think it's going to cost anything.
I move
Get a
that
motion? I think
I make a
Karen made the
motion.
motion,
Oh,
didn't
did you make it, Karen?
No.
No.
I was
Oh,
getting
this
ready
is
to.
something, oh, that was executive
Whatever.
session.
I'm gonna make it.
Okay.
Well, go ahead, John.
All right, I make a motion that we allow the election. Is that what we're looking for?
I'll
Okay.
second.
Motion and a second. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
I'm going to abstain.
And I as well. There's still 3 votes to pass.
Okay, so I will tell Judge Norton tomorrow and then issue his order.
Okay. Next item. Dick, you had something
Yeah.
real quick, before we get into other stuff with Mark.
Yeah, we gotta get an extension for the listers.
Like always?
Preparing the grand list, so there's all your, can you sign all that?
They want to grant the listers of their extension 30 days as usual.
Yeah, certainly.
Motion for that?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
You have a second?
Second.
Discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? passed. Anything else, Dick?
Flagpole for Cheney Hill. We didn't forget about that, did we?
Nope.
I was waiting to hear back, remember?
I blew it up just to get into mention there. I've been looking at our flagpole. I think a 25-foot high flagpole would do it. That's that first flagpole. We can get 25% discount. It looks like $342 plus shipping of $25 or $30. We budgeted $750 on the new equipment. And I think 25 feet above the ground is plenty.
Yeah.
$25 to $30 for shipping.
Well, you've got a about 60 pounds of aluminum, and it comes.
I mean, it's late.
Won't come forward.
Don't tip over that, Charlie.
Oh, you need a motion? for
Paperwork
that?
will kill us. Paperwork will kill us.
Yeah,
What do you think?
I like to get it ordered.
From another operation.
Then the installation, you can take it from there once it gets in. As far as the Boy Scouts to do it with
Doing
supervision.
things right together.
So we're buying the 25-foot one.
Yeah, I'll make a motion that we purchase that.
I'll second.
It's been budgeted, right?
Motion and a second.
No.
Motion and a second. Do we have any other discussion? If not, all those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed.
Okay. Third thing, getting back to our monument project, we sent out a mailing throughout the town. We're getting back replies. I'm checking the book and so forth. Thursday, there's going to be ad in the paper for 2 days. That's for people who used to live in the town. In other words, picture someone moving out, went into the city or so forth. So they'll only see it from the Rutland Herald's coverage. That's about all we can do is to try to, pick up people like that.
Okay, well, best you can do.
Yeah.
Seek and find.
That's all I got.
Other things to Dick, anybody? All right, Mike Shea has.
I'd just like to mention, I thought Howard was gonna come back with you, but he didn't, Howard Burgess.
Well, that meeting's still continuing, but I told him I had a bug out. They'll be done shortly.
Last
Do
time.
you know if he was gonna bring anything up about the, Rutland Town, West Rutland line?
I don't know.
think he was, yet.
No, he told me he was having a hard time getting a hold of somebody over there or something.
Well, he and I walked the,
Yeah, after that, he told me a couple days ago, he had, somebody there, he hadn't
Yeah,
been able to
I don't know if he's
contact.
ready to
Yeah.
finalize things yet.
The only other item is the tax appeals. Mark requested an executive session for this. Why don't we take a couple-minute break? Karen, no, she's
Here
coming
she
back.
is.
You want a break or not?
I don't think so, it's the only thing left, right?
Okay.
Unless you guys do.
Well, before you go into, can I ask you, Mark, what's the setup now? Will John Norton pick a date? Or what? Or will he contact me?
Probably will.
probably have to notice it and warn it.
You're talking about-
Issue an order for a new election, and we'll have to schedule one as soon as you can.
Okay.
When Lee issues his order, and then see what it says.
Right.
I mean, it's not us, up to us to draw the order.
Last item, discussion of tax appeals. Mark requested an executive session for that. Does the chair hear a motion to go into executive session to discuss tax appeals?
Can I raise a point of order on that one?
Sure.
Before. Regarding does this involve the proposed settlement on the class action suit? And if that does, doesn't the public, the residents have a right to know what the offer of settlement is, since they know what the claim was by the appellant or the people that filed the class action, and they know the town's response, and if this is to be discussed, that's sort of one question, shouldn't it be a public document, whatever their settlement offer is? Second one is, if this is to be discussed in light of the other cases that are going to the Supreme Court, why are you the attorney involved, since apparently there's other attorneys representing us on the class action?
I'd like an executive session to go into, I'd like to go into an executive session to discuss pending litigation of the tax appeals, and I don't want to say anything more about it in an open session. I think it's prejudicial to the town.
Well, there's a lot at stake for a lot of townspeople, Mark, and there's several players here. If the listers make one decision, all the town residents are going to see their tax, typical house go up $200, $300, $400.
It has nothing to do with the listers' decisions. They're not. coming
Well,
up
I
with-
mean, if the business community out there is proposing a settlement, an offer to the town to help resolve some of this tax issue, don't you think the town residents have some right to some information about what is being proposed in terms of a settlement?
I can't answer these questions. We need an executive session to talk about this stuff. That's all I can tell you.
I'm sorry, David,
I can't respond.
Executive session, discuss pending litigation and tax appeals.
Okay. Have a second to that?
Oh, you're here?
Yeah.
Have a second? Have any discussion about the motion? If not, all those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
I will support the motion. We have a three-member majority. We have an executive session. Okay. Next door? Please.
We're going next door.
Yeah.